How many times have you gotten out of your chair and your hips just ache? Or you're all excited to start squatting or deadlifting and that hip starts screaming at you. Or you roll over in bed because your bottom hip won't stop throbbing. Of course, you've tried foam rolling and massage guns till the cows come home. You've done every bandage stretch to get some relief. But for some reason, most of the training and rehab world has yet to realize that in order for your hips to not be in pain, and you know what? You must improve your internal rotation. The hip, just like all other joints, has a hierarchy when it comes to the functions it must be able to do. Now, if you're new to the hip science world, internal rotation is at the top of the food chain. So no matter who walks through my door for training or to figure out why something's not getting any better, the first thing I do is look at internal rotation. If the hip can't perform this action at a reasonable level, then there's no point to look at anything else until this is resolved. Now, luckily for everyone, it's not hard to improve this motion. So I have two exercises that attack this. One that's going to isolate the movement, and then that use it in conjunction with training the entire hip. So stick around and let's get started. Alright guys, so now it's time to address that internal rotation. Now the only equipment you're going to need is a yoga block or a pillow. You can use a little squishy ball. You just need something that you can squeeze between your thighs that's going to not just completely break on you. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get into the sideline position. So you're going to lay on your side. You can also use a pillow behind your head if you want to. But what we want to have is, see how my knees are in front of my hip? That's not where I want them. I want them to come down a little bit. So it's almost like a 45-degree angle. My knees are bent to 90 degrees. That is crucial and you can't let that change. So now we're going to take the yoga block and we're going to put it right in between the thighs, not the knees. And notice I have like this little bit of a runway here. That's going to allow it so as our femur rolls forward, we don't just fall off the cliff, okay? So from here, a couple things. One, this is a hip movement. It's not a pelvis movement. It's not a lower back movement. So we don't want anything to move except this guy here and then the shin bone, all right? So I like to take this hand, kind of put on my ribs and blow my air out. And this is going to make my abs kind of turn on, just keeps them engaged. And then now take your hand and put it right here on top of your hip. This is going to serve two purposes. One, I don't want this to roll like that. But two, I should feel my femur, more specifically that femur head, kind of rotating underneath my hand. So it just gives us a little bit of feedback. So what we're going to do, we're going to squeeze that block and then we're going to slowly try to lift your top foot. Now, if you've never done internal rotation before, your brain's going to be like, what are we doing? This is very weird. But you should feel that bone spinning around. But try not to arch your lower back or do anything else to squeeze even higher. Make sure that knee's at 90 degrees. And then you're just going to simply parachute down. Now, I know this does not look complicated, but I assure you this is the easiest thing to do to get that rotation. It's just teaching your brain what rotation is. So we're just going to do 10 reps, just nice and slow. Feel the contraction. You should feel some stuff here doing its work. And then down slow. So just keep in mind, you're just teaching your brain what internal rotation is. For some reason, a long time ago, we were taught that internal rotation of the hip was bad. And that's why we started doing all these crazy exercises that avoid this. Well, guess what happened? Nobody can internally rotate their hip, and now we got hip problems. So we're going to get two more of these. Good, one more. All right, so this focused on internal rotation, and if that gets better, it makes our hip better. So now we're going to take our hip through all of its ranges of motion with what we call the sideline hip car. Hip car is just a great way to express all the range of motions that we currently have and just get better at them. And when we get better at internal rotation, the entire hip pattern gets easier. So from here, same kind of concepts. Don't use anything else. It's a hip motion, not a lower back pelvis motion. So from here, I like to take my hand, put it underneath my obliques and pull them away from the floor, just so I feel them engaged. Keep your knee at 90. We're going to lift the leg. You're going to pull it up to your waist. From here, you're going to open the door. From here, the knee stays still. I'm going to internally rotate, like we just did, so you can kind of see your foot behind your knee. And then we're going to scoot back, down. We're going to pull up to your waist. We're going to reverse. You're going to lift that foot up first. What is that? That's that internal rotation, right? You're going to bring it back to the door and then down. Let's go two more. We're going to open, rotate, swoop around, pull through, reverse, foot up, get back to that door, and down slow. Let's go one more good one. Open, rotate, swoop, pull through, reverse, foot, back up, and close the door. Alright guys, so when it comes to programming for this little sequence can be done every single day. I usually like to have people do it, like if they're going to go for a run, if they're going to go to the gym, do it as part of your warm-up. It just kind of gets your brain ready, like, hey, we're going to go do hip stuff. Let's go work on the thing that we're the worst at in our hip, and then get our hip prep with that hip car, which is a nice little warm-up, and then you guys should be all good to go for your training session. Stick with this for about a month. You can always increase the reps. You can also increase the sets if you'd like. Anything you want to do, it's not complicated. It's just about getting your hip to internally rotate better. Alright guys, so that's it for today. Leave us a like, subscribe, anything kind of comment below, and don't forget to be strong, be mobile.